So right now, I'm on this path of conquering my fears. And by the end of this conversation, I hope to feel a little bit lighter in my body, and I hope to have spread some knowledge to anyone listening right now. One of my biggest fears and the toughest thing for me to talk about are my shames, specifically regarding sex. It is so uncomfortable for me to talk about. I get all tight and rigid when it's brought up, especially when it's around my family. Something in my culture or in my lineage or in my ancestry has deep trauma regarding sex. I don't know where it's from or what it's from, or if it was even my conception was traumatic. I don't know. But part of me conquering my fear is figuring out the root of this shame that I have around sex, and why I've never been completely and totally comfortable just talking about it, being confident about it, especially in front of women. I am a sexual being, and I love that state of being. I love it. But there's something holding me back, something inside of me that has a fear. So I'm gonna dive a little deeper into that and unpack that further. There's no way to talk about sex without getting personal. You have to get personal because it's such a personal thing. The fact that it's my number one fear is like I'm missing out on such a beautiful part of my life, the thing that is life, the creation force. So it is exciting that I am diving into this topic right now, but it is also a little bit nerve-wracking. My dad cheated on my mom. That's part of the reason why they divorced. He was practicing tantra with another woman. Do I put this out there? I mean, I'll bring it back to myself because it's so personal. I first discovered my sexuality the way I discovered my sexuality was really weird. It's a really weird story. It started when my mom's friend brought back some woman's healthcare product. It was like this jar of cream, and she stuck it in the fridge because that's where it needed to stay to be preserved. And on that jar there was a naked woman, like pretty much naked but hiding her tits and kind of sensual on the jar. And I don't know how old I was. I can't remember how old I was, but like instantly it was this like primal trigger, like, oh, what the fuck is that? Like I just triggered something, tripped off something. But then that passed, and then the next encounter, there's little encounters here and there when I was a little kid, but the major encounter was I was at a friend's place, my rich friend's place, Dylan. I went to his house. It was for his birthday party, and he said, "No, come up to my room." And there was a few other kids there, and he was the only kid who owned a laptop, who owned a computer, because his dad was a rich psychiatrist and had plenty of money to buy him a brand new computer. So he went onto his computer, went online. I'd never been online before or had a computer in my life, and he opened up a porn website. And then that was really the moment where I was like, what is this stuff? And I really was like, I didn't know what to do or what to feel, and it was just us. And then his mom walked up and he quickly closed the window, and that was that. So it was a hidden thing, and I learned that it was a hidden thing, and he was hiding it himself. And I think that just spread onto me. Yes, that's it. Then fast forward, I get like a DS, which is like a Game Boy or a little portable video game station, and it had a web browser on it. So I started like searching up like girls without clothes on, because I didn't even know what the word naked meant. I was so fucking innocent. And then I started finding pictures, and I would look at them at night on my little video game thing on like 360p. That was like the thing that I would do, and I wouldn't tell anyone about it. So it was always like a secret in my life. And I think for me, I'm not like a bottled up shameaholic. I've talked about this stuff with lots of people, but shame, it takes time to unpack. It takes time to release. This all takes time for me to heal. Anyhow, for many years, I've felt up to the age of 17, 18, that I was the only one feeling these type of ways, that I had to like hide my masturbation. Well, yeah, I think you want to masturbate privately anyways, but that I was always like, yo, is anyone looking? Like, I was on guard. I was like a fucking deer when I masturbated. Like, I was like so on guard, my ears would move. But that's like fear. Like, that's fucking fear. Fear of letting other people know that you are doing something that is the act of creation, which is something that is not to be feared and is the symbol of love. So it's these conflicting forces, fear and sex, which is love and creation, shame, all that. That's a lot for a young boy to handle. It was a lot for me to handle. And now it's really just untangling all those mixed emotions and getting it out there. And I think talking about it, whether it's just out loud or with somebody else who can relate or who's been through it, that really helps in the healing process, in my experience. It's really helped a lot. That's also a way that I'm getting in touch with my masculinity, is being really open about talking about this. So I want to end it off with some fun facts, just some like thoughts I had, some fun thoughts. These are not facts. I have like two coexisting minds going on in my head here. There's my normal brain, which wants to be polite, wants to be a gentleman, wants to be kind and generous and have humility towards the ladies and the men in my life. And then there's my sex brain, which is completely different and cares about domination, I'm not gonna lie, punishing and power and showing the beast. And these two things, these two minds coexist with each other. And I'm remembering now that there's this sexual mind that is always there and is always present, that I have to almost suppress for most of my life. I have to keep it back in some ways, in some regards. But I'm learning how to channel that energy positively and use it towards and use it for good. I don't know how yet. This is all stuff that I'm learning. Another thought I had was, I've talked to a lot of women, and when I mention like I kind of am into like punishing bad girls like with love, they are really intrigued by that. And it's really weird for me, because I just tried it one day, like, well, what's the worst that can happen? And I was surprised that there were so many women that were actually into it. And I it's just painful, like, so many people, they hurt themselves, and I know so many women that hurt themselves to get connected with their body. And so sex for them in their belief system is about being punished, having someone punish them, having someone kind of hurt them. They don't know what it feels like to just receive kindness. And I was blessed to have a mom that taught me, Anoah, be gentle, be kind to yourself. And it's not even like a wimpy thing. Like, you're an alpha male if you're kind to yourself, if you treat yourself nice, not like punishing yourself, not hurting yourself. That's self-sabotage. So we bring that self-sabotage into our sex life, and then that translates into like, oh, I need a punisher in my life. I need someone to punish me. It's really complicated, but maybe it's also like primal, and like back when we were fucking apes, the big alpha ape was like beating up bitches, like, so if you were a girl ape, you'd want to be with the big alpha ape who would, yeah, beat you up, but you'd be safe and you'd have food. I don't know. Anyhow, all those thoughts are out. I do feel lighter, and with that, thank you for listening and tuning in. Peace. And if you'd be so kind, click that subscribe button. It really turns me on.